There's nothing quite as heartbreaking as walking into your garden only to find your tomato plant stripped of leaves, riddled with holes, and drooping from the relentless appetite of a pest you didn't even see coming. The culprit? The tomato hornworm, every gardener's uninvited guest. At Soil and Crop Central we know the struggle is real. But here's the good news. You don't need chemicals to win this war. With the right knowledge and natural methods, you can stop hornworms before they destroy your harvest, and this guide will show you exactly how. Let's jump straight into the battle plan. Introducing the enemy. How to spot and identify tomato hornworms. If you're growing tomatoes, you're already on the radar of one of the most aggressive pests in the garden. Tomato hornworms are the larvae of the five-spotted hawk moth. They're bright green, often growing up to 4 inches long with diagonal white stripes down their sides and a distinctive horn at the tail end. But don't let their soft-bodied innocence fool you. One hornworm can defoliate a tomato plant in just a few days. The earliest signs of their presence are often subtle. Media group, chewed tomato leaves, close-up of greenish-black hornworm droppings on tomato leaf at stalk at distribute _equally, chewed leaves, greenish-black droppings, and missing stems. You may also see bare leaf ribs sticking out from otherwise full plants. If you look closely, or better yet, examine your plants at dusk or dawn, you'll likely spot the culprit hiding along the main stem or the underside of a leaf. They blend in so well with tomato leaves that they can be hard to spot during the day. That's why frequent and focused inspections during peak growing season are essential. Once you know what to look for, identifying these pests gets much easier. The first line of defense is a healthy plant. Stressed tomato plants are more vulnerable to pests of all kinds, including hornworms. Make sure your tomatoes are planted in nutrient-rich, well-drained soil, and get consistent watering. Mulch around the base to hold in moisture and, try to avoid wetting the leaves since that can invite disease and weaken plants over time, but honestly, good care isn't enough by itself. Bring in reinforcements from the insect world. Braconid wasps are tiny but mighty allies. They lay eggs directly on hornworms, and once the larvae hatch, they feed from the inside out, stopping the hornworm's destruction in its tracks. You'll recognize parasitized hornworms by the white, rice-like cocoons on their backs. Leave these hornworms in the garden, they're no longer a threat, and they're actually helping build your natural pest patrol. To attract these beneficial wasps, grow flowering herbs like dill, fennel, and yarrow around your tomato beds. Not only do these plants bring in the good bugs, but they also make your garden more vibrant and just, more biologically diverse. Companion planting is another powerful tactic. Strongly scented plants like basil, marigold, and borage help confuse adult moths and deter them from laying eggs on your tomatoes. So try to incorporate these allies in your garden design, not just for beauty but as a frontline defense. When prevention isn't enough and you start seeing damage, it's time to act. One of the most direct and effective methods is handpicking. It might not be glamorous, but it works. Simply inspect each plant, grab any hornworms you find, and drop them into a container of soapy water. This method is especially effective in small gardens where you can stay on top of the problem with daily checks. For those who want to create a less inviting environment from the ground up, diatomaceous earth is a fantastic option. This fine powder made from fossilized diatoms feels soft to human touch but is razor-sharp to insects. When sprinkled around the base of tomato plants and on the lower stems, it dehydrates crawling pests, including emerging hornworm larvae. Just remember to reapply after rain or watering, since moisture reduces its effectiveness. It's a completely natural option that won't harm your plants, or beneficial insects that don't crawl across it. Insecticidal soap is another helpful weapon in your arsenal. Made from potassium salts of fatty acids, it breaks down soft-bodied insects like hornworms without leaving toxic residues. Use a ready-made organic formula or mix your own by combining 2 tablespoons of mild liquid soap, not detergent, with 1 quart of water. Spray the solution directly on visible hornworms during cooler parts of the day. And avoid using it in direct sunlight to prevent plant burn. For serious infestations or when you want to act proactively, horticultural oils offer another layer of organic control. These oils, often made from petroleum or natural plant sources, smother insect eggs and larvae. They're most effective when used early in the season before hornworms fully develop. Apply a horticultural oil labeled safe for vegetables during early morning or late evening. Always test a small portion of the plant first to make sure there's no sensitivity. A more targeted and powerful biological solution is Bacillus thuringiensis, or BDK, a naturally occurring soil bacterium that affects only caterpillars. It's harmless to people, pets, and pollinators, but deadly to hornworms. Once consumed, BT disrupts their digestion, causing them to stop feeding and die within a few days. To use, dilute 1 teaspoon of BT concentrate in 1 gallon of water, then spray thoroughly on all leaf surfaces, especially the undersides. Repeat every 7 to 10 days during the active growing season. It's most effective on young caterpillars, so don't wait if you spot early signs. Another excellent tactic for early season defense is the use of floating row covers. These breathable, translucent sheets physically block adult moths from accessing your plants to lay eggs. Row covers are ideal for young plants and newly transplanted seedlings. Remove the covers once plants begin to flower to allow pollinators access, but by then, the worst of the hornworm season is usually behind you. Dealing with tomato hornworms doesn't have to mean sacrificing your harvest or resorting to synthetic chemicals. By learning to identify these pests early, encouraging beneficial insects, practicing good garden hygiene, and using organic controls like BT, diatomaceous earth, and companion planting, you can protect your tomatoes naturally and effectively. Remember, prevention is always more powerful than reaction. The more attention you give to plant health, biodiversity, and soil care, the fewer hornworms you'll face in the future. If you found this video helpful, now's the perfect time to hit subscribe to stay tuned for more practical, real-world gardening advice from Soil and Crop Central. Share this video with a fellow gardener who might be battling pests, and let's keep our gardens thriving, one tomato at a time.